Chapter 5. Pearl of Wisdom number 2. You have to wear armor. Overcoming objections and being persistent. Overcoming objections.
Call me kooky, but I love objections. When a prospect, possible buyer, or client asks questions, it really means they are paying attention, want to learn something, and/or get more information. Some of those questions or statements may be in the form of objections. They are waiting to see what your response will be to said objection. Plus, it's a way for them to feel in control. If you can answer them effectively, you are winning them over. Sometimes I'll even bring up a potential objection I think they might ask, in the hopes of diffusing it before it ever comes up in our conversation. I might say, for example, if you like all of the ideas I share with you today, do you feel you can move forward with the radio campaign? I love objections because I view them as batting practice. Practicing in the batting cage on your swing, your technique, etc. prepares you for the real game. Handling objections effectively helps build my credibility with them, and hopefully makes them more comfortable with what I'm selling in the hopes that I will eventually close the deal. I plan on hitting those objections out of the ballpark. None of them will give me the willies. I have a proper response for each and every objection that may come up in conversation. Sample objections in my profession include:
I tried radio before and didn't benefit from it.
My response? Yes, I've heard that before. However, radio really is a wonderful way to communicate a message, and it obviously works, or our clients wouldn't be using it for so long. If you feel you didn't receive a good return on your investment with radio, I'd like to look at a couple of things with you. When were you on the air? Who was your rep? How well did they service you? How long were you on the air, and how often was your message heard or even changed? What was the quality of your message and offer? How did you qualify your results? Did you ask all of your new customers if they heard your radio commercial? Answers to these questions can often turn up the reasons as to why you felt things didn't turn out the way you had hoped. I can rectify this, and with a proper radio campaign, really help your business grow.
Who listens to your station?
My response? We have a very loyal listening audience who has become very loyal to our advertisers. That's why many of our advertisers have been on the air for 10, 20, 30 years. I may at this point get into some specific details about our listeners, such as the lion's share of our listeners are families who, localism is our middle name, etc.
I'm over budget.
My response? I appreciate that. Is it possible that there may be some discretionary funds to use in case something important came up? Or perhaps you can cut back on another area of marketing you are involved with in order to try this. I have found that over the years, many of my clients were somewhat apprehensive at first, but in the end, were glad that I walked through their doors to talk about radio with them. They have since concentrated the majority of their marketing dollars towards radio because of the results that they have received. There's no doubt in my mind that this could work for you as well.
I can't afford radio.
My response? That's a common misconception people have with radio. Folks think that radio, like television, must be way out of their marketing budget league. That's just not the case here at WRNJ. Here, let me show you.
I worked with your station in the past and it didn't really work.
My response? If you will afford me the opportunity, I'd really like to take a good look at what you did with us before. When were you on the air? How often was your message heard? Who was your rep? Can we listen to the commercials we ran for you? I basically do some fact-finding about why they feel the way they do towards us and try to turn that around. I am a different radio rep who is confident in my abilities, and I strive for what is best for the client. I try to get that across.
I need to think it over.
My response? We've thoroughly discussed the benefits. We both agree this is right for you. Let's move forward. Let's do it. Sometimes people need that little push when making up their mind. If they are steadfast about needing more time to think it over, my response would be, great. Why don't you think about it and I'll call you in a few days? That is, unless I hear from you prior. Again, if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask.
I'm committed to the newspaper.
My response? Did you know that you could reduce the size of your newspaper ad and apply those dollars towards a radio campaign without changing the effectiveness of your newspaper ad that much? I have some research to back that up if you'd like. Radio Advertising Bureau. I'm not looking for your entire newspaper budget, just a piece of the pie, to prove our effectiveness.
Radio's not tangible. How am I going to measure the results?
My response? That's a wonderful question, and I'm glad you brought it up. The best way for you to track your results is to communicate with your customers, especially the new ones. Ask them at the appropriate time, are you familiar with WRNJ radio? Do you listen to WRNJ radio? And oh, by the way, have you or someone you know heard our radio commercial? Make sure everyone that works for you who is in contact with any of your customers asks these questions and reports any positive feedback so you can develop peace of mind with your radio marketing strategy. Remember, not everyone is going to walk into your place of business like Frankenstein and walk up to you, "Ugh, heard ad, must buy from you." Many times, folks will not speak up and offer this information. They don't want you to think they can be influenced to make any type of buying decision. Sometimes you can create an effective way to get these customers to speak up about the radio ad. I will even have my clients hang a sign in their store that says, "Tell us if you heard us on WRNJ," and
We don't advertise because we rely on word of mouth.
my response? Radio is the best form of word of mouth because you can control everything about it. The message itself, how often it's heard, and since it's your message, it's always positive word of mouth. Plus, we will reach thousands and thousands of folks on a weekly basis with your positive word of mouth message.
We have no competition.
My response? Oh yeah? Sure you do. You compete with every cash register in town. Plus, all businesses have some form of attrition. Customers move, they change loyalties. Let me help you overcome that. Or, radio advertising can bring you new customers to make up for the ones who have fallen by the wayside through attrition. Every family has just so much discretionary income to purchase goods and services with. Even though you may feel you have no competition, potential customers make choices every day as to just where they will spend their discretionary dollars. Often, an objection really is a smokescreen. Once you win them over to your way of thinking, after all, you are in the persuasion business, that objection goes away. By knowing all about your product or service, you will figure out ahead of time what all of those future objections may be and how to respond to them properly and automatically. People are very impressed when you can answer an objection properly. You need to master all of the objections that come up in your respective industry, because you won't want to walk away from a sale with your tail between your legs, having crashed and burned from an objection that ate you up. Remember, when someone asks you something you honestly don't know the answer to, don't fudge your way through it with an ad-lib answer. Tell them that that is a great question, but you are not positive about the answer, and you want to find out for them. Ask them if it's all right to call them a little later in the day after you have researched and found out the proper answer. Ah, yes, credibility. Did you know that there is only one type of person you can't sell to? That is a person who is apathetic about changing their business or apathetic about doing what it takes to further grow their business. They really don't care about bettering their situation. They might point out that they are happy with just the 3 crews they have, doing what they're doing, and making the income they are making. I point out that a radio campaign may aid them in hiring a 4th crew and bringing in more revenue because their business will increase, but they don't really want to grow anymore. They're happy with their lot in life where it is at that point. So when you are dealing with someone who makes it abundantly clear that they are apathetic, thank them for their time and walk away.
Wear your armor.
Nobody likes rejection, especially in sales. That's why you have to be thick-skinned and wear armor. Someone may say something negative towards your industry or product. They may even say no, ooh, that word, to you, but never take it personally. You need to let those things bounce off of you. You are confident in your abilities, self-assured. Not everyone is going to see things through your eyes. It happens to the best of us. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get your fishing pole back in the water. Figure out what didn't work out, and if you were going to do it all over again, how you would change something so as to end up with a more favorable result. If you make a mistake or fail at something, it's not always bad as long as you can recognize what didn't work and how to fix it for the next time out.